What up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Just closing my window so that there's not too much outside noise. So, welcome to our 8th now Sunday sermon. And as per usual, lots happening in the cryptocurrency space. And also, as per usual, I am going to be going over Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash prices first, see where they're at, look at the overall market, see what the top coins are for this week. And then after that, I'll go through a few of the community posts and questions that have popped up over the week. Of course, saying hello to a lot of our newcomers. And then also have a look at some of the coins that I see some potential in, and some of the coins that some of our community members also see some potential in. So let's get started. And I'm using my phone this time because my general home Wi-Fi is usually pretty shit. So hopefully this will stay with us. So just switch the screen. So taking a look at Bitcoin right now, it's as of today, it's at 17,132. During the week, it was fluctuating up and down. Let's have a look at a 7-day chart. As you can see here, it was at around 13,000, and this is in US dollars. All right. So if you look at the week itself, though, of course, it has been trending upwards. But I will bring up some news items to show why there's still some current concerns around BTC, Bitcoin in general. However, it's this market. It is very much influenced by greed, as most markets are. Everybody's pretty much in it to see how much money they can make, and that's standard. So it's not really a surprise. You can't really get mad at that. But at the same time, always do like to inform people about some of the technicals underneath or underlying that may help you with longer term investments. Remembering none of this is financial advice. We're just sharing things that we see, things that we are learning along the way, and hoping that you also learn a few things along the way as well. If we look at Bitcoin Cash, today it actually had a pretty good rally. You can see here. Let's look at the week. All right, so it started at around 2,437 at the beginning of the week, and as of right now, it's at 2,942. For a brief moment, it was above 3,000. I think a lot of people, I remember during the week, I was looking at this in particular. As you can see here, is trending down. And, a lot of people, when they see things going down, they freak out and then kind of panic sell, well, like your average investor. But these were actually more buying opportunities, so I did buy in around here, some more. And then usually when I see this take place, you might not be able to see that, but when you see this take place, it's also another good opportunity to buy because it's kind of just hovering. And then, around, when was that, the 5th? Around the 6th of Jan, it was coming up. So you kind of see this shape taking place. So that was good. Consolidating again, up, doing that, and then as of earlier today, it went up. Now, for those of you that are new and you're wondering why I'm looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Cash is probably one of the strongest contenders to Satoshi's Bitcoin. And if you've read the pinned post at the top of our Facebook group, you'll know that Satoshi's Bitcoin, which is what we reiterate. Let me try that again. It's what we reiterate a lot when it comes to understanding, what actually is Bitcoin and what is the true Bitcoin. And the reason for this, as we keep repeating, is that Bitcoin started out as outlined by Satoshi as an electronic peer-to-peer cash system for the world, and it was the vision of having, essentially getting all the unbanked of the world into the free markets and trading and giving them opportunities to find their financial sovereignty. Now, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, this cryptocurrency market has kind of been birthed as a result of Bitcoin. There's a lot of political stuff around it, but essentially Bitcoin's overall market dominance has gone from almost 99% to around, last I checked, is around 33% as of today. So that's insane. So even though the price of Bitcoin, continues to rise, a lot of the technical fundamentals have changed drastically over the last year. And for me personally, this is why I had exchanged all of my BTC Bitcoin over to BCH Bitcoin, because I believe that the right way to scale over time will be through on-chain. And it's, I want to be able to use Bitcoin as a payment system. That's what the revolutionary part was. So that's Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as of today. But we also have, and I want to bring up the coin market cap. Let's have a look at where all the other coins are right now. Okay, so this is probably the biggest news for the week. Ripple. All right, Ripple came out of nowhere. I want to say nowhere is because most people are looking at sort of the top 10 coins in terms of market cap, and kind of like beyond that, you will pay attention, but not as much as the top 10. So Ripple was there, I think within the top 20 to 30. And then over the last week, it just shot up. As you can see here, just went boom, right? Everybody was seeing this and going nuts. But one thing to take note of is this circulating supply. If I had you right in front of me, I'd ask you, well, what do you see as the main difference between, say, Bitcoin and Ripple? It's the circulating supply, all right? The circulating supply, it's huge, right? And what that means over time is that you may not necessarily see the price of Ripple go to, say, the price of Bitcoin, but you can still have significant gains because it also looks cheap when you buy in. I think when people were buying in, it was like less than $1, and that's appealing because, and that's also what has helped kind of push the market cap so quickly. And not only that, Ripple has a lot of partnerships with financial institutions, banks, etc. Now, it's also important to note that Bitcoin, Ripple, and Ethereum, those three here, they all serve very different purposes. Not all of them are cryptocurrencies. And it is really interesting because we're saying cryptocurrency market capitalizations, but if you actually dig into each of the projects, Ethereum, it's used. One thing that is great about Ethereum, and I can't even hate on Ethereum, is that with Ethereum, it is used to build other applications on. Now, the Bitcoin network can actually provide similar functions. It just hasn't been used because its purpose is for cryptocurrencies. However, Ethereum, if things had gone more positively, Vitalik probably would have taken everything that he was wanting to do with Ethereum and built it on top of Bitcoin, and that would have been much better in my opinion. But this is also the result of the free markets. So yeah, that's Ethereum. Ripple, once again, look at their market cap. So I remember just watching it. It overtook Litecoin, Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, and then it overtook Ethereum. Everybody was just like, hold up, what the hell just happened? And now it's at 125 billion, 125 billion. And that's just silly money in my opinion. You can see the movements, the top 4, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin, 24-hour movements, you can still see that all of them are in the billions, right? Cardano, they're holding their own, but you also have a look at this circulating supply. These things I do look at, all right? And there was actually some news on I'm pretty active on Twitter because that's where I get most of my signals and information, but I will try and find an article that was really interesting, that was looking at how people are able to actually increase the market cap or have very sudden boosts in market cap. I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Yeah, there's a lot. So other news also is that South Korea cryptocurrency exchanges. They're adding more employees than banks right now. So yeah, the Koreans are really into their cryptocurrencies. And so just having a look. Oh, other big news too was Visa Europe cuts off Bitcoin debit card services over issuers' non-compliance. So you see that. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Bitcoin history, Bitcoin's original competitors were Visa and MasterCard. So they wanted to create a payment system that didn't require Visa or MasterCard. But it's still needed for general day-to-day payments because they have such a wide coverage of the world. There were some companies who were creating credit cards that were being issued via MasterCard and Visa. And then Visa Europe was like, don't want to have any of that. And well, they can, why not? So just trying to find this, and I'm hoping I can find it, because if I don't find it, I don't want to waste too much of your time either. Okay, actually this is pretty interesting news as well. Canada is suddenly the best Bitcoin mining location in the world. And the reason for this is because China has cracked down a lot of mining companies and operations. And so a lot of them are relocating to Canada. The reason being is that it's becoming faster and cheaper and cooler to actually mine in Canada. So seriously, props to all the Canadians who are mining there at the moment. Like, really, props. Just have a look at this. Here we go. I think this is the article. Bringing it up. 1 second. Now, while that's loading, we'll also have a look at some of the questions and posts that were posted in the group or the community this week. All right, Kevin Yu has been posting some really great results of what he's been doing strategy-wise, and I think we're definitely seeing a strategy that makes a lot of sense if you think about it. But what Kevin's doing is he's putting some money towards ICOs, a fair few, and then he's essentially cashing out after about 1 to 3 months. So you can see here ETN is up 2,200 since ICO, 3 months, 28 cents. He has another 5%, 16,000 tokens in another account, and I believe he's already cashed out on some previous gains, and those gains were 4 to 5 times the initial investment. And it makes a sense because not all the ICOs are going to be successful. So what you do is, if you're smart about it, is you put some money into some ICOs that you think have potential, and you get your 3 to 5 or even more X returns within a month. You pull that capital out, and if you want to, you can keep some in, and you keep doing that with other ICOs. And I guess the trick is identifying which of the ICOs are actually worth investing in. And so I may actually ask Kevin and others in the community to sort of gather together and for us to kind of share which ICOs we think collectively are worth putting some money to. And remember, it's not financial advice. Everybody is responsible for their own financial decisions. Be responsible, okay? We're just sharing what is working for ourselves, and if it works for you, great. So yeah, props to you, Kevin, for sharing your updates. Keep it up. Love seeing it. And I hope to see more of that. What do we got? Got Grant. Okay, yeah, this one, if any of you actually have, 1 second, window. If any of you actually have an answer to this question for Grant, it should be some basic maths there, but at the same time, it's, when it comes to predicting the future price, nobody really knows, right? So that's why I haven't responded to that yet. But other interesting news for the week: Roger Ver, who is also known as Bitcoin Jesus, debated Jameson Lopp, who's from Bitcoin Core, the developer group. And this interview was really good to see just how far the crypto community has come, because there was a lot of there've been a lot of interviews where it's been, attacks and whatnot, and it hasn't been quite civil. And this interview was actually really good to watch because, well, they're both respectful of one another. Carl had a question around essentially index, and this is actually a great question post, because if you're wanting to create an index, you don't necessarily have to invest in a formal index. You can actually just create your own by investing in a whole bunch of, say, the top 10 market cap coins, right? So if you just invested, say, even if you had like $1,000, right, you just put $100 towards each of these, right, top 10, and you just leave it in either a multi-currency wallet or an exchange. Now, I usually recommend not an exchange because you never know what could happen, but that's essentially the same thing as having an index. James I can't even say his name's Altucher. I don't know. I forgot how to say his last name, but this article is well worth a read as well. I didn't agree with everything, but a large majority, did make sense in my opinion. TRON. Oh God, yeah. Let's talk about TRON. TRON is I'm actually quite excited about TRON. TRON has hit like number 10 now market cap. I think it hit number 9 at one point. That seemed to come out of nowhere. But TRON, I mean, the Japanese are going crazy over TRON at the moment. But it had a huge rally, as you can see here. Now I'm gonna set it to a logarithmic scale, so it just doesn't look as kind of nuts. But the logarithmic scale just sort of spaces out the actual price jumps. So if you've ever wondered what the difference is between linear and logarithmic, you'll see here a linear scale, right? It's showing the prices at even intervals, okay? Logarithmic is actually more reflective of sort of the jumps between prices in the market over time. So I tend to look at the logarithmic scale more so these days than the linear scale. Because, yeah, they say numbers don't lie, but actually if you are plotting them out on a chart or a graph, they can. Or it can give you a different perception of what's going on. So you can see here, it's still pretty cool to see what happened with TRON, and I think for those who put in, they're kind of happy with their gains. And TRON, if we actually look at their website, I'm actually pretty excited about this one too. I think there's some long-term potential. Noting that there's still, I personally believe that 90% of the coins will not do as well, or will be affected by things in the future. Now, so here's the TRON website, all right? And if we have a look at the volume circulating supply, oh, that's Ripple. Let's look at TRON. I'm still kind of very worried about these circulating supplies in the billions, because it's kind of feeling like everybody's just making up their own money now. I mean, well, I guess if people are going to buy it, that is money. It's like it's perception of what is valuable. So if we look at TRON, their team members actually. All right. So TRON, as a decentralized content protocol, TRON is the following 4 basic characteristics compared to a centralized internet: data liberation, content enabling, personal ICO infrastructure. TRON's official currency is TRONix. TRONix is the basic unit of accounts. TRON power is locked TRON. Blah, 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 blah. TRON 20 standard, blah, blah, blah. Exodus. Yep, looking through. So yeah, if you want to have a read more about like the team, definitely go in. Bitmain. So if you don't know who Bitmain is like one of the largest cryptocurrency mining companies in the world. So they're one of the partners. So yeah, they're one of the partners. They would have done their research, and that's a pretty good partner to have. So that's kind of what appealed to me when I saw that, because I know Jihan Wu, who I'm connected to on Twitter, wouldn't just back any old ICO or coin. So once again, to look at what TRON is, it's a blockchain-based decentralized protocol that aims to construct a worldwide free content entertainment system with a blockchain and distributed storage technology. The protocol allows each user to freely publish, store, and own data, and in the decentralized autonomous form decides the distribution, subscription, and push of contents. And I think this is actually a growth area, media, publishing, content. I know I saw Spotify, I think also was looking at, let's have a look here. Spotify, somewhere. All right. See, there's too much. Twitter too much happening in real time, so I can't even find. But I know there was news about Spotify buying a blockchain company in order to sort of help assist with the attribution copyright side of things, and which I think is a great use for blockchain, because essentially, right, once it's written to a blockchain, you cannot erase it. So this may have, you know, huge implications for pirated content as well. We shall see. But yeah, Tron is definitely one that I'm interested in, and I put some money down for that as well. Stellar. All right. So with Ripple and Stellar, I think these Ripple and Stellar are both kind of achieving similar things but differently. And Stellar, if you want to kind of know what the difference between the two is, not from a technical standpoint, but from, you know, who's backing both of them. Ripple is probably where you have more of your enterprise customers, or your financial institutions, banks, etc. And Stellar is probably more founded by the entrepreneurs or the startups and pretty much everyone that's not enterprise. All right, so you have these sort of ideological differences between the two and how they should operate, but they're similar in terms of what they're trying to achieve, based on what I've learned so far. So, you know, that's Ripple and Stellar. I'm putting my money on Stellar, only because with Ripple, there's something that's just not sitting right with me, personally with with Ripple. But I know that, like, there are some folks on Twitter who are really behind Ripple, and you know, I could be wrong, but yeah, as it stands, they're at the number 2 spot. So, you know, kudos to them. Now, just going back, I think what I was trying to show before. Now, here is the decimal thing. Aha. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Like, I was saying how, you know, the circulating supply is actually something that is a bit of concern. And there seems to be a strategy where companies are putting their prices at, like, really low, like less than $1 listed. And as you can see, right, percentage increase. What the hell is that? That's like 778 times. But the strategy is, if you look at the top 27 coins by market cap since 2017, all the ones that are at the top, look at that, they're all at less than $1 in terms of price, right, and the gains, okay? And if you scroll down even more, and if we adjusted the decimal points, then what you'd actually see is this: Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum, Stellar, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, so on and so forth. And then if you look at how many units of each altcoin you need to hold to own the equivalent of 1 Bitcoin, you get the following, all right? You know, and so it's just really interesting to see when you actually adjust the decimal points to see, and sort of adjust with the circulating supply, like, it tells a different story. But because most people only see the initial price, psychologically they think, oh, because it's less than $1, it's better that I buy that, you know, because it could end up getting to the point that Bitcoin is at. So that article is definitely worth reading as well. So Tron, how Bitcoin works under the hood. Yes, we went over that. Yes, Tron. Yeah, this is more around Bitcoin Cash, this particular post. But it's just, I've noticed sort of a trend with the spikes in price for Bitcoin Cash. And so there was one, and it seems to always happen around the 15th of every month, plus or minus a few days. So you can see here, there's like around November 13 to 15. Here is October 16, 17. Here is December 15. So you see the spike here, but it's not as significant as December, leading up to December 25th. And of course that makes sense, public holidays. And then Coinbase also released early. Banks, yep, this year, you know, look out for the banks. They're going to come for the cryptocurrencies, and that is to be expected. Yeah, you know, I just want to say, like, guys, like, kudos to you all for, like, posting some really great content up in the community as well. It's really great to see that engagement and everyone sharing their knowledge and helping and supporting. One of my personal goals also is to create the world's most supportive cryptocurrency community. And in my opinion, that in order to do that, we do have to sort of control the the rate of growth, and this is being reflected as well on exchanges. I think in the West we always love to see like fast growth, right? We think that fast growth is good growth, but not always, right? Coinbase and a few other exchanges have had to halt the registration of new accounts because they can't keep up with the rate, and also they want to be able to support previous customers, and I think that's actually a great move. Because if you have all these new people and you're just catering to new customers all the time but not taking care of your old customers, well, you're gonna have issues. So kudos to just kudos to Coinbase for doing that. All right, putting it back. All right, the other thing too, if you missed out, got the Introduction to Bitcoin Cash course. It's a fast track. It's one that I've put together, and actually initially I put the price at $29, but since there's so much free content out, I put a sort of donation based option. So essentially you could get this for free now if you want, but at least just for the time that I put in, you can put in any price that you want. So if you are interested in sort of the history behind Bitcoin itself, the way that I have seen things evolve over time, as well as a few things around the differences between wallets and exchanges, I do highly recommend you get this course, and drop some feedback, drop some comments, let me know what you thought of it, whether it was good, bad, ugly, whatever, because this is also a course that will be updated over time as new information comes. So check out that link if you get a chance. Stellar Ripple, thank you, Michael, for making sure some people had some Stellar and Ripple if they wanted to see some gains. Good question, nice hash. So there's mining stuff. Not a lot of miners in this particular group, but it is something that I'm also looking at and getting to this year. So I'll keep you updated on that. Some great funny episodes. Yeah, this was another great post from Anissa. Bitcoin has crashed 30% 6 times in 2017. And yes, in other times it's been far worse, but it's always come back. So that is the power of Bitcoin. Now let's go into the ICOs, because I see here Simon's put something on the ICOs. And earlier in the week, I did also post my own sort of coin reviews doc, which I spent a bit of time putting together. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, I suggest you just use the search this group and look for coin reviews, and you should find this post. All right, so in it I go over OMG, Request Network, Railblocks, Enigma Coin, and Storica. And these are also mentioned by community members, and that's why I decided to do a review of them. And I've also added a few at the end that popped up. Link, AMB, BQX, XBY, and Deep Brain Chain. Cliff High, who's one of the guys that I really love, he's known for inventing predictive linguistics, talks about AI being a pretty strong growth area. So if there are any coins or tokens that are based around AI, you can expect them to do relatively well. Of course, still do your own research, due diligence, and you should see some pretty good gains if you get into an ICO early enough with them. But let me see if I can bring up. Okay, so I've got coin. So here are my kind of updated coins. So these are some of the newer coins that I put up that I saw some movements on. So I'll put a screenshot of this as well, so you guys can have a look. But how I got these were by go back to the coin market cap. All right, so let's have a look at trending. Now this is what I now look at. So you could, if you want to see what new coins are out and which ones you can get into first, have a look, and then go volume. All right, so I've clicked on volume here, and you can see this one has popped up a fair few times. All right, ELF. All right, circulating supply 250 million, volume 117 million. All right, now let's just have a look here. So I use this in combination with Twitter chatter. But I also look at gainers and losers. So, and I look over not just a 24-hour period, but But let's look at the volume again. All right, so you can see here via volume of the last 24 hours, you got Neblio. So this is where you can see how like money is being transferred across the internet over a 24-hour period, right? If you're a day trader, this might be interesting. You can see there's 126% gain for Neblio. Never heard of it, but it's, you know, it's transferring around 82 million. So at least, you know, it's at 20 bucks. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Now actually when I see prices of coins that are sort of here, I don't know why, I'm getting a bit more skeptical. Okay, so let's look at Neblio. Yeah, look right there. It went from about $7 January 5th, 2 days, and now it's up to about 20. So so we got 10, 15, 20, okay. Went 2 to 3 times. So yeah, you would have seen some pretty good gains. You could get out if you want to. Let's have a look at their website. All right, so the blockchain platform for enabling next-gen distributed applications. Okay, secure distributed platform built for enterprise applications. So, okay, the enterprise, blockchains for enterprise. I think this is definitely a growth area, and it's probably why Ripple has done as well as it has. So if you're wanting to find some gains, you know, this is a good niche area to investigate, right? Blockchain for enterprise. All right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have a look at this one as well. Fintech and energy are probably my 2 kind of niche areas, and that's what I'm usually looking at in terms of the coins that I invest in. So that's Neblio. So that's definitely one to add to your list. So yeah, guys, if you're looking to find out what the latest coins are that's coming out and what the biggest gainers or losers are, I also use the 7-day tab. So you can see B3 coin, that has had a 6,770% increase. All right, those are the biggest gainers. All right, so you know, you can just have a look through there yourself to see, you know, what's good, what's not, and yeah, you know, potentially find some hot ones to see which one will do well. All right. So that concludes our Sunday sermon. There's a lot of, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of wisdom that goes into the group from other members. And so it is important, if you don't want to miss any updates, there is a cool feature of Facebook groups that you can actually set, right? So what you can do is you go notifications, all posts, all right, of this group, and it'll ensure that every time there is a new post, you'll get notified. Because yeah, there's just, even I miss some posts sometimes, and I'll end up coming back to the group and scrolling through to see, you know, which ones have just entered. So that concludes the Sunday sermon. Appreciate everyone who has been commenting, helping each other out, and yeah, remember, if you get a chance and you want to just see what that Bitcoin Cash course is about, it's there. It's now pretty much free. You can pay what you want for it in order to get it. And I will look at putting out some more courses over the year based on things that I'm learning. And I had this conversation with a friend recently about how, actually, I think this was with Jess, one of our community members last week. And I keep having the same conversation with others. Once you get involved with cryptos, once you've bought your first cryptocurrency, it is like taking the red pill in the Matrix. Once you go down the rabbit hole, you cannot get back out. All right, and this is one of the more meta influences and effects of the cryptocurrency market. And the reason why I say that is because once you've taken the red pill, you know, people come in for greed, but then they stay for many other reasons. Once you buy cryptocurrencies, you start questioning things like, okay, what is money? What is debt? You know, because a lot of people are using their cryptocurrency gains to also pay off their debt very quickly, very fast, which I think is a great use of your cryptocurrencies, because essentially it's an equalizer. Cryptocurrencies can help reduce a lot of the debt that has been interest born and accumulated to the point where, you know, a lot of people, like the whole world cannot pay back all debts, pretty much. Cryptocurrencies allow us to be able to do that for the first time in history. which allows us to kind of reset things. So yeah, when you start asking those questions, it just keeps going and going. You'll end up not just questioning what money is, you'll end up questioning what debt is. You'll end up questioning, the role of government. And as a result of cryptocurrencies, government's role in finances are being questioned as well. So it's very important to be aware of this as you are navigating the cryptocurrency universe. You're not just looking at the coins, you're looking at the implications of society itself being completely uprooted and dismantled, and it's coinciding with a lot of other things that are happening at a mental level. Cliff High, once again, if you get a chance to buy his reports, please do. All right, it's very worth purchasing. So the next 5 years are going to be I'm very excited for the next 5 years. And yeah, once again, with our community, with our group, if you know anyone who will benefit from the information that we're sharing, please invite them in. Please remind them to answer the questions, because we do not accept anybody who does not answer the questions. And the main one being, do you take responsibility for your own financial decisions? And do you also accept that none of what is provided in the group by myself or members is official financial advice? All right, very important. And also, for those of you who are a bit more advanced, I am going to be putting together a paid membership group whereby we'll be using that group more for signals and potentially looking at these sort of collective ICO investments, right? So in that group, we will share which ICOs we think are hot, and work together as well to sort of put our money towards it, and have a little bit more accountability as well, and sharing of results. We'll test it out, see how it goes, and this is all an experiment, and it's all constantly evolving, changing, learning. So thank you again for being part of this journey, and I wish you all the crypto success in the world. And yeah, that's all. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you next Sunday or in the Facebook group. All right. See ya.